Thank you. Please be seated.
Good morning, everyone. Hello. Yeah. Does everybody feel like we've been here for months? Does anybody feel that way? That's just the weirdest thing. Sometimes the way time is, you know. Yeah, it feels, I was just saying to Mr. Sebi, it feels like we're halfway through the year, hardly into the second week. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. We're all engaged. I want to talk about that a bit today. But we're going to start with the Lonsdale's hymn, which is hymn number 7, How Great Thou Art. And I'll ask the gentleman from Lonsdale's to sing the first verse for us, and the rest of us will join in, of course, with the second verse. Thank you. Please be seated. Not bad. So, I have to say that Lonsdale's house, traditionally, doesn't have a reputation as great singers. You know, the guys, good, loud, and hearty, but not particularly musical. But that was wonderful this morning. Didn't you think so? Yeah, very nice. Thank you very much, gentlemen. You're all great, but I thought that was especially nice this morning. So thinking about what to say today, a strange thought occurred to me. Actually, I'm surprised it hasn't occurred to me before. And what I thought was, what would I say to my 14 or 16 or 18-year-old self if I had the chance to do that? Or more to the point, what is it that I wish I'd been told when I was in your place? So my next thought was, well, actually, I was told a lot of very wise things when I was your age. So the question really is, what do I wish I had really listened to and taken to heart? Which of those pieces of wisdom do I wish I had really paid attention to? Because, you know, as you can probably relate to some of this, much of what I was told when I was younger just went in one ear and out the other. A great deal of the wisdom that I was exposed to in my youth, you know, has only taken root in me in later years. And I was thinking about that, and I think it's maybe because I remember some of the things I was told, but they only started to make sense to me when, you know, I was able to test them out, to kind of take them out for a test drive and see what was useful and what wasn't so useful. So we adults, especially, I think, teachers, we see it as our job to impart wisdom to you, you know, to tell you stuff that we think is important. And, you know, to be really honest, I'm not sure how effective we always are. You know, I suspect sometimes that when we're talking, we're just making noise. God knows that doesn't stop us from talking. But the messages that you hear from us, you know, really won't have that much meaning until you try them out for yourself, until you hear what you're being told and think, I'm going to take that to heart and think about it and try it out. So sometimes I think the best that we can do as a staff, you know, as the wise adults in your life, the best thing that we can do for you, maybe the only really important thing, is to prod you to try new things. And the headmaster, of course, was talking about this on Tuesday. So we prod you to try new things and then kind of step back and wait for you to go through the starting gate, get in the game. And if we see you, you know, not going through the starting gate, we'll probably prod you some more. So there are things that I wish I had done sooner in my life. And not that I was a shrinking violet in any way, and absolutely don't think that you guys are shrinking violets. But I have in some ways been a late bloomer. And I wish that I had been open, I'd had this openness to life that I have now. I wish I'd had that earlier. So the question that I would ask my teenage self, if I could, this morning, the question that I put to you is this one: what is holding you back? So my challenge is, while we're at the beginning of the year, is to take a good look at the things that are keeping you from engaging fully in life here at Shawnigan, as fully and enthusiastically as you possibly can. And in terms of what those things are, and we all have them. We all have things that are holding us back. And each of you will have a different answer to that question, of course. But over the years, many of you have shared with me some of the barriers that you experience in your lives. And of course, the most common one of all, anybody want to guess? No, it's too early. The most common one of all is fear. You know, fear that what others will think, fear that you will make a mistake, say the wrong thing, sound stupid, call attention to yourself in a way that might make you feel uncomfortable. Anyone relate to any of those things? Yeah. So I know I've made plenty of mistakes. I've said the wrong thing more often than I care to think about, and as Miss Reb would tell you, I've made a career of sounding stupid. At this point in my life, though, the one thing that really, really scares me, and maybe even terrifies me, is the thought that I may have let my fears keep me from experiencing, you know, all the great things that have happened to me and for me in my life. Being chaplain at Shawnigan being one of them. So there are fears that tell us there's something to be avoided. You know, the minks in our lives, you know, those fears are sometimes legitimate. But most of our fears really are, if you want to think of this metaphor, simply doors to be open. Fear says, you are safe, you're comfortable, there's no reason to mess that up by taking any risks. Fear says, here I am at a place where life is inviting me to step out and risk doing something new, but if I do that, there's no way to know what the result will be. There's no assurance that I won't be resisted or rejected or laughed at. So the thing to know, of course, is that in every case, the resistance, rejection, and ridicule that we will inevitably experience when we risk being ourselves, those reactions always come from people that are held by that fear promise, the promise that if they just give in to their fear, they'll remain safe and comfortable. Does that make sense? So fearful people will always resist us when we refuse to be ruled by fear. So what I regret in my life, as I say, is that I've given into fear as much as I've given into courage. But I have learned a few things along the way about what courage really is. And what I've learned is that courage is not a limited commodity. It isn't something that some people have and others lack, or that we just have a little bit of. Courage is not a thing at all. Courage is an act. So courage is what we experience when we refuse to hold ourselves back. We sometimes think, I don't have the courage to try something new, but that's like saying, I'm not happy enough to make myself do something that will make me happier, or I don't know enough to learn. It's like saying, I don't know how to do something new because I've never done it before. And you see how ridiculous that is. So courage is a state of mind, it's an attitude, a way of being. Courage is what happens when we make one and then another decision to say yes to life and to stretch out and risk ourselves. So that's what I wish that I'd taken to heart when I was 16. I'm sure there's lots of people that told me just that message, but that's the message that I want to convey this morning. So where are you holding back? What is it that you think you can't do? Where has fear lodged itself in your mind? What is keeping you from opening the doors that beckon to you? So today, as we stand at the threshold of a new year, as you meet new people, as you are continually these days invited to learn and try new things, to test yourself against new challenges, to confront what you have told yourself or what other people have told yourself are your limitations, as you navigate through a day full of opportunities to say yes to life, I invite you and urge you to give into your courage. So someone said once, don't be afraid of your fears. Your fears are not there to scare you. They're there to let you know that something is worthwhile. So I'll leave it at that this morning. And we're going to end with Jerusalem, hymn number 5, and I'll invite the ladies from K's to sing the first verse for us.
Was the
Thank you all. Thank you, Miss Daniel. Thank you, ladies. Have a great day.
Sit down, please. If I may, for 2 minutes. I don't want to distort from the chaplain's message. Again, great message this morning. And as someone who makes a lot of noise regularly, I'm guilty of, I'm a noisemaker. I never quite thought of it like that. Just want to tell you, I'm impressed by how many people are singing without hymn books. Well done. That's really good. And one of the situations I wanted to give a shout out to the other day was actually Senora Carballo. Can you imagine anything worse than starting the school year full of energy for your classes and your house and everything else, and then having your knee blown out? I think it's the anterior cruciate, is it? Ligaments? Yeah, it's bad anyway, yeah? So let's give a little bit of sympathy, TLC, and a hug when you see her to Senora Carballo. There we go, yeah? So do me a favor, mass experiment. I'd like everybody to smile right now. Go on, smile. Like everybody, smile. Look at other people that are smiling. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. See? It's contagious. So let's make it contagious. I told a story years ago, it's a true story, when I went to one of these arcade places many years ago in England. When I was a kid, actually, and there was this silly machine that you had to put money into, and it was called a laughing policeman. And so you put money in, and this sort of chunky, portly policeman started laughing, and of course I was in my cynical stage. Are you kidding me? That's a waste of money. There's no way that this guy's going to make me laugh. And guess what? I started laughing. And then when I started laughing, I couldn't stop laughing. And neither could anybody else around me. So there you are. Smile at people. It's contagious. Have a good day. Thank you.